Well, our press briefing this week is with Minister Shimmin. You don't appear very often, and then you're on us again. But a big document you're bringing out that's got some relevance for the future direction of the Isle of Man. In fact, you'd say it's probably very important, right?
It is. If people remember that the Chief Minister came forward with his agenda for change, what we're now seeing is debates taking place in the House and also with the public to actually show what those agendas are going to mean and look like. This one is the economic policy. It's 17 pages long. It shows where we're up to, what we're doing in the future, sets targets, ambitions, but actually it also reflects how successful the island is doing and will continue to do as we move forward.
Because you're going to tell us we're still growing away at 3%, aren't we, or something?
Yeah, 4% for next year. We're going to have this policy debated in March, and then we're going to continue working with the business community to try and get their input into how we move forward for the next 5, 10, 15 years.
So who's this brochure aimed at?
Predominantly the business community. The public might find it of interest and it's on the web pages, but this is predominantly for people in business, both existing ones here or people thinking about locating or doing business through the island. So we split it into three. We look at the financial services, which are still the bedrock of our economy. They represent a third of our GDP, enormous numbers of people employed. So we've got to make sure that with all the international changes that we look after the jobs we have and create more growth. We then have the established sectors, and those areas are ones that we know some of them are in difficulties. So we've got to try and again protect the jobs, but also make sure we invest in things like apprenticeships. So engineering apprenticeships, we're trebling the numbers of them because we know it's an established sector, but it's actually got good growth opportunities.
How do you manage this when your budgets are being cut? Even your budgets are being cut, aren't they, according to the Mr Tier's latest predictions?
Yes, only small amount. I've got a lot of support within Council Ministers in Tynwald. We have restructured within the departments. We've saved £300,000. We're using that money to employ people more directly in front of business development management. So we're bringing people in from the private sector. In Tynwald we were allowed to do that, so it won't be civil servants. It'll be people from the business community coming in, trying to sell the Isle of Man. So we think that by restructuring, we've got people targeting what we need. And everything in my department really is about jobs and revenue.
I mean, it's got to be more than a brochure, this job, hasn't it? I mean, this is what, an introductory thing you'll be sending out to lots of places or on stands in...
Yeah, it's part of the marketing. It's also an ambition. It's also working with the business community who, let's be honest, government doesn't create these jobs. It's the business community that create them. So we've launched it with the business community. They seem to be accepting that it is a major step forward. It holds us to account. It sets out challenges for us. There's no hiding places in this. We understand that the established sectors are important, but also the emerging sectors are where the growth is. We explain about our country strategy. So I'll be travelling to China with other business leaders in order to try and grow new opportunities.
How tough is it out there?
We've got two issues, and I think the key message is that the economy is doing well on the Isle of Man. 30 years of growth. All of the problems you hear in the UK and Europe, our economy is good and is very diverse. The difficulty we have on the Isle of Man is a fiscal challenge, the amount of money that we have in and the amount of money it costs to run government. So the economy is doing well in most areas. The fiscal rebalancing is tough, and that's where the pain is going to come, that the public see that there's no wage increases or that there's increased charges. So if we separate it out, fiscal challenges are serious. Economy is still doing well, but on its own, growing the economy won't be enough. We have to restructure government.
Well, on Monday you were due to get your top civil servant back in place, and he's been pulled again, hasn't he, to another task?
It's really it's utilising the skills, because anybody who knows Chris Collard knows that he was the DTI chief executive. Under the restructuring, he went in and did a job in social care and has kept very much in touch with the business community. When Colin took his secondment, Chris was able to come in and has done a tremendous job. We're not destabilising that, so he's staying in position. He's one of the main authors of bringing together some of this vision for where we go forward. Colin is still a very experienced officer, and guess what? Transforming government is a real challenge. So you bring in somebody with so much experience to actually put into a position that has lacked the clout of a chief executive to drive forward the changes. So when people want to look at the fiscal challenge, the rebalancing and the scope of government, you've now got an experienced chief executive coming back into that position, and I think it's utilising the skills for the best people, for the people of the island.
Well, finally, you said 4% growth coming for this year. As such, where is it going to go? Better or steady or what?
Well, we've identified where we think there will be job losses. We're not hiding away from that. We think that within banking and some of the CSPs and fiduciaries, there will be challenges brought about by international changes. So we know that there's the Vickers report in banking is going to have an impact. We think there may be some job losses. We know the banks will consolidate. Therefore, we've got to make sure we have the skills and the reskilling of people. E-gaming, ICT, engineering, a whole range of biomed and clean tech areas of growth. We have the visitor sector we think will grow. So we're identifying that there's 165 net new jobs within the income generating parts of our community, and those then create other jobs within the other sectors. So that's about 500 plus new jobs on the island within the next 12 months.
So steady or actually increasing growth?
I've said to you before, hold me to account at the end of the year. I'm still really optimistic that we can grow at 4% when you compare that to everyone around us and the triple dip into the UK. Jersey now in its 5th year of recession. So let's not beat ourselves up too much. We have something good on the island, and that's the link between the business community and government. And if the public support us and give us the optimism, a bit of good weather outside, people feel a bit better about things, let's have a bit more optimism.